Do y'all go all out for Valentine's? I don't usually. I'm not a real big, giant, get crazy Valentine's decor kind of person, but I do like to put tiny, subtle splashes of Valentine's around for February. So today, I thought it would be a lot of fun to work on a couple of Valentine's Day projects. Hello, my darling friends. Welcome back. It is so good to see all of you. I hope y'all are staying well. The crud caught up with me this week and I have been sick all week long. However, I am up, I am out of bed, and I am excited to work on a couple of projects with y'all today. I think it'll be fun to just do a couple quick little Valentine's things. So we're gonna work up a really pretty wreath, and then we're gonna make some super cute faux heart-shaped s'mores. These are gonna be a ton of fun. I'm actually super excited about this project. So are y'all ready? Let's head into the studio and do a little Valentine's Day crafting. Let's kick our projects off today by making some really cute Valentine s'mores. So for this project, you are going to need some air dry clay, any kind of your choosing, just whatever your favorite is. And then we will need some heart-shaped wood cutouts. And I did cut mine out, but you can find these almost anywhere. All the craft supply stores have them. You can get them on Etsy, and I also have them available on my website as well. And then we are going to need some glue sticks, and I am using these brown glue sticks. I will also have these linked in our supply list. These are amazing. This color looks exactly like chocolate, so they are perfect for that because these are going to be the chocolate on our s'mores. Then we're going to need some paint colors and a paintbrush, and then of course we will need a hot glue gun. So to get started here, y'all, I'm first going to just start out by painting our graham crackers, our faux graham crackers. I'm only going to be painting the sides, the edges, and then the top. You really don't need to paint the underside of these because it will never show. It's going to be hidden with our chocolate and our marshmallows. So save yourself a little work and just paint the top and the edges. And the color that I'm using here to do this is called, it's a folk art brand, and it's called Rusted Pipe. And yes, that is a very strange name, color to choose for cookies. However, it was the only one in my stash that most closely resembled the color of graham crackers. So I'll just go ahead and get all of these painted. Now I am making 6 of these, so I've got 12 pieces. And like I said, you only need to paint the top side of each cookie. You don't need to paint the underside. The underside. I did come in and do 2 coats of paint on these, and then I let that dry thoroughly. Now that that is dry, we can go ahead and start adding some fun detail to our cookies and bring them to life and make them look like s'mores. So the first thing I wanted to do is give these a little dry brushing, because you know how graham crackers kind of have that like baked, roasted look to them almost. And if you've ever really looked at a graham cracker, the edges are a little darker. So I thought to achieve this, we could just do some dry brushing. So I'm coming in with a little bit darker color here and dry brushing some of this onto the edges of our cookies, and then just a little bit through the top. Like I don't want to fully cover that, just a little smattering of this dry brush across the top, but I did do a little heavier dry brush across the edges. Now that we have that little detail done, we can go ahead and start adding a little more detail to our graham crackers. So graham crackers always have that little break line in them. So to do this, I am just simply going to paint on some dash lines. And I am using a very small detail brush to do this in a little darker shade than our original base color. So I came in,
did a few dashed lines, and then off to the sides, I'm just going to draw in some of those dots because graham crackers also have those little dots on them, which I don't even know why, but we're going to do it because graham crackers have them. So I just painted this very gently with the tip of my brush. I really didn't want these dots to be super defined. So I had practiced on that cookie that you see over on the left, and it just did not look good at all. So with my remaining ones, I am just going to do these dots with a very light, gentle hand so that the color isn't super defined. It's just kind of a subtle detail in the background. So I'll go ahead and do that to the rest of our cookies. Oh, and this detail really only needs to be done on the top cookies as well, because you really won't see it on the bottom. So again, save yourself a little time and just do the tops. Our detail painting is finished, and now we're going to add some chocolate to our cookies. And I'm really excited about this part, y'all. I think it is so fun and so cool. It's just so cool to watch this transform and take shape and really start to look like actual melted chocolate on the cookie. So I'm going to come in with my little, and I am using, these glue sticks are mini glue sticks. That was the only ones I could find. And so I'm just using my little mini glue gun here. And I'm not going to cover the entire cookie because this does take a tremendous amount of glue. I used almost 2 glue sticks per cookie. And like I said, I am only making 6 of these, so I only had to do 6 bottoms. So I just come in and start spreading or squeezing on the hot glue all around the outer edge of the cookie. However, I do want to have some actual drips because you would have drips on a real s'more if we were really making s'mores. So I do let some of this hot glue kind of drip over the edges as I am working on this. So this is such a fun detail. I love this entire step. This was one of my favorite parts of making this whole cookie or s'more. This is looking pretty good so far. I am really impressed with this hot glue. It truly looks like real chocolate. And we got some good drips going over the edge of our graham cracker that just kind of makes it look very authentic. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up with all of the chocolate. I'm making 6 cookies, so we only need to put the chocolate on the very bottom half of our cookie, on the bottom part of each cookie. So I'm going to go ahead and get that finished up really quick, and then we'll move on to doing our marshmallows. All right, our chocolate is all on our graham crackers, and it's looking pretty good, y'all. I am so impressed with this hot glue. It really looks like chocolate. I'm impressed. These are so much fun. They're looking really good, really good. So, and if I haven't said that enough, I'm feeling kind of impressed with this hot glue. Okay, y'all, so let's go ahead and work on our marshmallows now. So to do the marshmallows, we're going to be using some air dry clay. So I just start with a small chunk, roll it in a ball, and then come in with the rolling pin and kind of start rolling it all out. And my thought process here was to roll it out so that our clay is all the same thickness, but that was sort of an attempt in futility, really, because I end up smushing it out anyway so that it fits the cookie. Then I measure it to the cookie, and if it's not quite the same size as the cookie, go ahead and just smash it around, because you do want your marshmallow to be a little larger than the cookie. Once you've got that part done, then go ahead and start peeling it back to fit the cookie like more precisely. I hope that makes sense. So once I did that, and if you do tear your clay a little bit, that's perfectly fine. And because I did that quite a bit, I tore it in a lot of places to make it fit. But because I don't want that torn look on the outside of our clay, because we want this to look like a soft, puffy marshmallow, I rolled it all over. You can kind of see here how I roll in all of the edges to give it that softer look on the outside so that we don't have like that raw edge, that rough edge on the outside of the marshmallow. So I just keep playing with it and keep molding it to the shape of the cookie. And I just play, I kind of put the pieces together to see how it's going to look, because we want a little marshmallow oozing out, but we don't want it to cover up our chocolate. So once you feel satisfied with the shape and how it fits your cookie, you can go ahead and take your finger and dip it in a little bit of cool water or warm water, either or, room temperature water, whatever, it all works the same, and just kind of start smoothing out our clay, because we don't really want any wrinkles or crinkles or cracks in this. We really want our marshmallow to look pretty smooth. So one thing I did do here that I kind of found worked really well for me as I moved on to working on more of these is I sandwiched the marshmallow into our cookies and then came in with my wet finger and kind of molded it and shaped it and smoothed it all out until I achieved that nice fluffy marshmallow look. So I'm going to go ahead and do that to a few more of our cookies really quick and just enjoy this process, because this actually was so much fun. I was surprised at myself at how much fun I had on this project, because I wasn't sure I was going to enjoy it, but honestly, y'all, at the end of the day, I loved this project, and these cookies were, or s'mores. I keep calling them cookies, but our s'mores. This was so much fun. I loved this whole entire project. So again, I'm going to go ahead and just keep shaping these and molding these until all of our s'mores are complete. Okay, so here they are all finished, y'all. Aren't they so cute? I absolutely love these. I'm impressed with how well these turned out, and they look so real. Somebody might actually be tempted to pick one of these up and try and take a bite out of it. That might be kind of a funny trick to pull on somebody. Anyway, I love how they turned out. So at this point, now that all of our s'mores have been made, at this point you do want to kind of open them all up and leave your clay out to fully dry. Once the clay has set and hardened, you can go ahead and glue all of your pieces together, and that will finish off this project. They are so cute. I love them all. I love a good wreath, and because I'm not super into flashy Valentine's decor, I thought this would be a fun, subtle way to just add a hint of Valentine's to the decor. So we're going to start by using this heart-shaped grapevine wreath that I found at Hobby Lobby, and I also got all of these greenery picks at Hobby Lobby as well. So when I am building a wreath, I do try to keep everything very symmetrical, and you want to make sure that all of your greenery is going the same direction. So we're going to start with the middle of this wreath and work up and kind of down and around each of the sides. So make sure that you decide what direction you want your greenery to go from the very start, and then keep it all going the same exact direction the entire time. So we'll start in the middle here, and before I ever put anything down permanently, I always do a semi-dry fit with my greenery just to make sure I'm going to like the placement. And I am using my melting pot here to do this. I love my melting pot for working with greeneries and florals. It's just so easy to just dip the stem in and then attach it to our form. So again, I'm starting in the middle here, and because I do want this to look as symmetrical as I possibly can, I'm going to kind of copycat each of the sides. So if I add a piece to the left, then I do the same exact thing on the right, and I just keep going up, 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 and around. Now we will have a little bit of those stems showing on the bottom as we proceed here, but don't worry about that. We're going to fix it at the very, very end. So I am just going to keep coming in and placing these branches all the way up the middle, and then we'll start going up over the top and down the sides. And again, remember to keep your greenery all going the same direction. Alrighty, so I've got the middle section of our heart shape all in place. I'm liking the way this is looking. So now we're just going to continue building this wreath all the way around until we meet down there at the bottom of the heart. So I'm going to go ahead and build a little bit up on the left side first, and then I will come back and continue building to the right side and try to copycat exactly what I did on the left side. I hope that makes sense, because again, I really am going for a very symmetrical look here with this. Now, that isn't a rule. That's not some hard, fast rule that you have to follow when building a wreath. There really are no rules at all when working with greenery. Well, there's a few, but really it's just playing. You're really just playing and having fun here and placing greenery, and you have the form to work with, which really helps it, because you're basically just kind of tracing our wreath form with greenery. So as long as you're just following the shape of your form, there really is no right or wrong way to do this. You just kind of keep placing pieces, and you don't always have to have that symmetrical look either. That is personal preference, and I oftentimes when I am building like swags or certain wreaths, I don't do symmetrical. Sometimes I have an asymmetrical look, but however, for this particular piece, I did want to keep things as symmetrical as I possibly can. So I've built up some greenery over on that left side, and now I'm going to come in and just copycat everything I did over there onto the right side of our form. This is looking a little bit like dove wings, just slightly. That's sort of what it looks like right now. It's kind of wings flapping out, or like an open wing. Isn't it funny the things you see when you're working on a project? I see different things all the time. Okay, so now I'm just going to keep working this. We are working this all the way around. So I came up over the top and then just did that same thing down the bottom, filling in. One thing that I do like to do is every single time I place a piece of greenery in, I make sure I put it underneath the previous row. I hope that makes sense, because it, first of all, it hides our stems and it kind of hides the glue, but it also helps give you a little bit more bulk and fullness to the wreath piece. So we're coming to the very end of this. I'm just going to fiddle around here a little bit and just kind of add a few more pieces in at the bottom. As I was working on this, I did kind of battle back and forth a little bit with myself on how I wanted this to close at the bottom, and I kind of decided that I was going to have one side overlap the other side just a little tiny bit. So I do kind of break my little asymmetrical rule there, because see, it doesn't have to be a hard, fast rule. And here's what we have so far. So what I am seeing here is that I have kind of got it a little bit more bulky at the very bottom than I do on the sides. So I need to come in and add a little bit more greenery to my sides to kind of bulk this up and make it match the bottom a little bit. So this is where you can just kind of start having fun and just sticking pieces anywhere, really randomly. Just make sure that you tuck them up underneath the previous row or up underneath another row so that you don't get so that you can hide that stem and you don't see any of the hot glue. I've come in and added quite a bit of branches to the sides of this, but I feel like now the top part is looking a little skinny. It's looking a little on the thin side. So I'm going to come in now and just add a few of these little sprigs to the very top of this. I don't want to get too crazy. I don't want to end up looking too crazy and wild, but it does need just a little bit of bulk at the very top. So I'm just going to add in a few more stems to the top, and then that's going to get really close to making our greenery part of this wreath all finished. Okay, so now we need to cover up the initial placement of our very first stems. And so to do this, I am literally just going to come in with some tiny leaves. I just picked some of the leaves off of my little sprigs, and then I'm just putting a teeny tiny bit of glue on the ends of these, and I'm just going to build this up around the bottom until I get all of our that very first branches that we put in, until I get them covered and you can't see any of the hot glue. So I'll work on doing that really quick, and then I think we're close to having this thing finished. It is looking really good. I'm loving this so far. Let's wrap this wreath up, y'all, shall we? So to finish this off, I think we just need to add a simple little bow to this. Just something to add, just to give it a little different texture and a little color in there, just a little tiny bit of contrast. So I just made this simple tiny little finger bow with some thick jute. I used some of my really thick jute to do this, and then I'm just going to hot glue it right into the very center of where we created our little leaves across the bottom. And after I got it put on there, I was like, oh, I think we need just a tiny bit more. So I came in and made a smaller bow with some really thin jute, and I'm just going to hot glue that right to the top, and then that is going to finish this off. Well, I need to cut the tails down just a little bit, and then that is going to finish off this wreath, y'all, and I think it is so pretty. I love the look of this. I love how it has the heart shape, so you get a little subtle splash of Valentines, and it feels very sophisticated, but very country and charming at the same time.
Well, friends, what do you think of our cute little projects today? I think they were so much fun. I really love our cute little s'more cookies. I just think they turned out so darling, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to end up keeping those out for the whole month of February, because I just think they are so darn cute. And our wreath, I really love the wreath. I think the wreath turned out very elegant, and it just has that touch of sophistication to it, but yet at the same time, a little bit of that down home country feel. So I'm very happy with both projects. I don't think I have a favorite. I love them both equally. So you'll have to let me know of the two if you have a favorite. to wrap up our projects for the week and our time together today. I always hate it when our time comes to an end because, sick or not, I love spending time with y'all. And this is the best way to do it because I can't share my germs with y'all this way. All right, friends. Anyway, I'm so glad we had this time together today. Thank you all so much for being here and for taking time out of your day to come and hang out with me. It always means so much to me to have y'all here. I'm looking forward to next week. I've got more fun projects coming your way. As always, we're going to be DIYing some really cool pieces. So y'all come back, see me again next week. Until then, take care, and I will see y'all soon. Stay healthy. Bye. Nope, that camera is still very, very crooked. Are y'all looking at me like this? The shop, or not the shop, the studio. Gosh darn it. Bear with me today. I have been sick. And so, yes, the frogs are in my throat. Excuse me. Goodness. Okay. You know what? How do you clear the frogs from your throat? Politely and ladylike. Stop, 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 cut.